Now, mind you, and here's Grant Morrison. There were a lot of great ideas in there. There's some stuff that I was like, wow, this is really cool.
I really want to know what the original ending was.
I would have liked, yeah.
What Dan DiDio said, you need to change this. I don't want this. Because to me, this doesn't set up anything new.
No, it doesn't set up anything. And if anything, what's going on in the DCU right now seems so separate of what happened in Final Crisis, I don't see what the whole point behind it is. And again, I have tremendous respect for the the people who've involved here. And Grant Morrison is still one of my favorite writers. Again, there are some things in there. He poured so many ideas in there. Though there were like ideas on one page that you could have spinned an entire book or series out of.
That was my number one complaint. Is that it should have been 12 issues.
Yeah.
Because I really wish you would have expounded on some of those ideas. Because there was some really cool stuff, but they just kept jumping and jumping in time, and you didn't stay long enough anywhere to actually get a good part of the story. There
was a lot of setup and no real telling this. It was like, I'm giving you a joke, I'm setting up a joke, I'm setting up another joke, I'm setting up another joke, but I'm letting you come up with the punchline. Mm-hmm. Which might work in some cases, but can really frustrate you over time. And on top of that, the Japanese superhero, super team that he created, what were they there for? What did they do that made them so important to be there? You know what? That Japanese super team could have easily been the Teen Titans. And you could have had the Titans more involved in Final Crisis than having to create a whole different team to have them in there.
To me, that was a big letdown, because I remember when that sketchbook
came out.
I was like, these characters look awesome. Like, this would just be really cool. And then they were in the first couple issues, and then they just didn't go anywhere.
Unless Morrison's planning on doing something with them later. Like have that.
You mean
team.
Like the Seven Soldiers? Like DC just kind of ran all those guys into the ground.
Oh goodness!
Like the Bulleteer and Frankenstein. Yeah, Frankenstein was in here, but all those ones that he did, DC hasn't done anything with them.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but again, this whole thing about you had to have read Mr. Miracle and Frankenstein together. I'm like, no, because I understood.
Mr. Miracle was the big one that people needed to read to get some kind of background story on.
Yeah, but still, you have a guy called Mr. Miracle. He's an escape artist. What more do you need to know?
Right, and that series came out like 3 years ago.
Yeah. So, to all fairness to fans of Morrison and the stuff, I'm sorry. This was not a complete story here. There were even more. I can't believe I'm saying this. Even more so than Secret Invasion, this series, you had to read all those tie-ins. And remember how we were talking about it in the beginning? They were saying, they're only going to be a couple tie-ins, a couple miniseries to go with Final Crisis, but Final Crisis for the most part would be spin-off free or tie-in free, and you could read it all right here. Mm-hmm. No, that Final Crisis was worse than Secret Invasion.
No, because Secret Invasion had something like over 100 tie-ins, whereas Final Crisis maybe had 20. I mean, I'm not condoning it. 20 is still a lot of bullshit that you have to read. But you have to read Superman Beyond, number 1 and 2. You have to read it in order to understand Final Crisis.
Well, at least with Secret Invasion, you felt like you were missing stuff, but at least you got the story.
Yeah, but I knew I wasn't missing stuff because I was reading all the times, and they're all as shitty as the miniseries.
Well, it's too bad. It's just too bad.
No,
and it leaves kind of like a sour taste in your mouth when you see that much talent kind of get...
There was so much potential there.
Oh, huge.
Oh, yeah.
And this is when comic books... You know what this was? This was a prime example of what happens when you let politics get into comics. Right here. All these politics, all the stuff going on with J.G. Jones, all the stuff going on with DiDio and Grant Morrison.
Oh, man, it didn't help. Sorry, finish your...
No. Go on.
No, it didn't help that there was like 8 fucking inkers in that book, too.
Oh, yeah, no, and that's the other
when
thing,
I heard
too.
that Dunk Mankey was gonna do the whole thing, I was like, awesome, at least it's gonna look nice.
Right.
Now, like, the first 3 pages looked really nice. And then the rest of it just... I couldn't even believe Mankey did it.
It was like... And then the artwork, it would like suddenly change in tone, and you're looking at it and you're going, did the same guy do this?
That's what I thought, too, because at first I'm going through, I'm like, all right, these first 4 or 5 pages, definitely Mankey. Then I'm getting like, I thought he was doing the whole thing. Well, I get to the end and see some of the stuff looks like Mankey, but then I'm like, what's going on? And then, no, it's like 8 different inkers.
somebody was talking about the Legion of Superman or whatever.
Yeah, Majestic, Apollo,
Yeah.
Sunshine Superman. Yeah.
Can I tell you something? This did not impress me. When I was hearing about how there's this incredible scene, Keith Giffen's Legion of Superheroes poster that he did a while back, well, a lot more than a while back, we're talking like 20-some years ago, that was impressive. Every friggin' inch of that paper was filled. And this is like, I see a lot of negative space here, negative space there.
Well, again, there was really no build-up to this.
No, there's no build-up at all. I'm like...
I mean, yeah, it's a cool scene, but if there was some build-up behind it, it
Right.
would have been a lot more powerful.
And then of course, Superman getting the God Machine. Talk about your ultimate Deus ex machina. Things are get really bad, but then Superman's gonna come along, and we're gonna give him a machine that he can only have for a couple seconds, but it gives him. He's like God. It's a God weapon. We're calling it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If I had come up with that little bit in a miniseries, people would have laughed me out of the business. Completely laughed me out of the business. But because it's Grant Morrison, all respect to him.
Now, see,
Yeah.
as much as I want to blame this on Grant Morrison, I can't because, again, we don't know what he had to change. We don't know what the mandate is.
Oh, no, I'm not blaming
I
him,
really
but...
want to know how this was supposed to end, like how he wanted it to end.
No.
Because, I mean, overall story, the story kind of had that feel to that, like All-Star Superman. And All-Star Superman had an awesome payoff at the end.
Yes.
Like a great
Yes,
payoff.
yes.
And this did not have that. And I really want to know if there was something that he did that DC didn't want. I want to know what the end of the deal didn't let him do.
Again, I don't understand what there were all these changes about how they were supposed to set up all this other stuff in the DCU, and I'm left wondering myself. So, in regards to what Morrison, I think what he originally wanted to do, I think that question is like, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know.
No, but then the deal is like the dick, it goes 3. See, 1, 2, 3.
That's a good one. Okay. Well, I think that's a great note to end on. So we'll do that, and we'll see you in the next segment.